Galaxy Quest: 20 Weird Facts That'll Blow Your Mind. Galaxy Quest is a sci-fi comedy that cleverly parodies the world of devoted fandom while delivering action, heart, and laughs. From the misfit actors of a cancelled TV show to real aliens believing they are intergalactic heroes, the film blends absurd humor with thrilling adventure. Behind the scenes, however, the making of Galaxy Quest is full of bizarre, fascinating, and little-known facts. From casting near misses to uncomfortable costumes and improvisational chaos, the production was as entertaining as the movie itself. What strange secrets, hilarious mishaps, and astonishing choices shaped this cult classic? Stay with us as we reveal 20 weird facts that'll blow your mind. Tim Allen, known primarily for sitcoms and family-friendly comedies in the 90s, almost turned down the role of Jason Nesmith, the egotistical actor-turned-reluctant hero. Allen initially feared that audiences wouldn't accept him as a sci-fi action parody star and worried the film's absurd premise might damage his reputation. Producers, however, convinced him that the role would allow him to poke fun at his own celebrity persona while exploring comedic timing in a new genre. During auditions and early rehearsals, Allen tested several approaches, balancing arrogance, charm, and vulnerability to make Nesmith both ridiculous and sympathetic. Ultimately, his decision to accept the role proved crucial. Allen's performance anchors the film, giving it humor, heart, and credibility. Without him, Galaxy Quest might have lacked the charisma and satirical edge that helped it become a beloved cult classic, celebrated by both sci-fi fans and general audiences alike. Sigourney Weaver, famous for her role as Ellen Ripley in Alien, was initially hesitant to join Galaxy Quest. While the script's humor and heart appealed to her, she worried about parodying sci-fi tropes and potentially undercutting her iconic status. The idea of playing Gwen Demarco, a washed-up actor typecast as the show's communications officer, made her cautious about the film's tone. Weaver finally agreed after reading the full script and realizing that the humor was affectionate rather than mocking. She appreciated that the movie celebrated fandom and sci-fi culture rather than ridiculing it, and she recognized the opportunity to bring her experience from serious sci-fi roles into a comedic context. Her performance became a perfect balance of straight-faced dignity and subtle comedic timing, giving the character depth and relatability. Without Weaver's nuanced portrayal, the film might have leaned too heavily on parody, losing the warmth that made it resonate with both fans and general audiences. Galaxy Quest is a loving satire of sci-fi fandom, but the filmmakers went to great lengths to capture authentic fan behavior. From conventions to obsessive cosplay, the movie drew inspiration from real-life fan communities, particularly those surrounding Star Trek. The production team attended events, interviewed superfans, and observed fan rituals to ensure accuracy. The result is a film where the audience's devotion feels genuine. The fans in the movie chant, cosplay, and recite lines with uncanny precision, reflecting the quirks and intensity of actual sci-fi devotees. The filmmakers even included inside jokes, references only hardcore fans would recognize, to reward those paying close attention. By lampooning fandom without mocking it, Galaxy Quest struck a balance between humor and respect. Fans immediately recognized themselves in the portrayals, cementing the film's status as a cult classic that celebrates the very culture it parodies, rather than simply poking fun at it. Alan Rickman, cast as Alexander Dane, the classically trained actor stuck playing the over-the-top alien Dr. Lazarus, initially wanted his character to be far darker and more serious. Rickman, known for his intense dramatic roles, feared that a purely comedic approach would diminish the character's gravitas. He experimented with somber tones, sarcastic retorts, and subtle expressions that highlighted Dane's frustration and intellectual superiority. Rickman pushed for more biting dialogue and sarcastic commentary, aiming to contrast sharply with the film's broad humor. The filmmakers, however, wanted a balance, ensuring the comedy remained accessible while allowing Rickman's dramatic talent to shine. The compromise resulted in Alexander Dane being both hilariously exasperated and sympathetic. Rickman's ability to blend frustration, wit, and subtle menace made his character unforgettable. His nuanced performance added depth to the parody, proving that even in a comedic sci-fi spoof, layered acting could elevate the material to iconic status. Tony Shalhoub's portrayal of Fred Quan, the ship's enthusiastic engineer, is a fan favorite, but he almost didn't appear in Galaxy Quest. Originally, the role was offered to another actor, who had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts, leaving the part suddenly vacant. Shalhoub was hesitant at first. He worried about playing a comedic stereotype and didn't want the character to feel like a caricature. After reading the script and discussing the role with the filmmakers, he realized that Fred Quan had genuine heart, bravery, and quirky charm beneath his comic exterior. Shalhoub's performance brought a perfect balance of humor and earnestness. His timing, physical comedy, and ability to convey sincerity made Fred Quan one of the most memorable characters in the film. Without Shalhoub stepping in, the engineer's iconic status and many of the film's funniest moments might never have existed. The Thermians, the adorable and clueless aliens who mistake the Galaxy Quest cast for real heroes, required extensive makeup and prosthetics. Creating their distinctive look involved hours of preparation each day, sometimes taking up to 4 hours per actor. Actors had to sit through layers of latex, facial prosthetics, and delicate paint applications to achieve the Thermians' smooth, otherworldly appearance. The process was uncomfortable and time-consuming, with limited breaks for eating, drinking, or moving freely. Despite these challenges, the actors embraced the transformation, knowing it was essential for the aliens' believability. The meticulous makeup contributed to the film's charm, giving the Thermians a unique blend of cuteness and alien mystique. Their expressive eyes and distinctive heads became instantly recognizable, adding to the movie's enduring appeal. The dedication behind the prosthetics highlights the level of effort required to bring even seemingly whimsical characters convincingly to life on screen. Nathan Fillion, now famous for Firefly and Castle, made a brief but memorable cameo in Galaxy Quest, appearing as a convention fan in the audience. What most viewers don't realize is that this scene was largely improvised. Fillion, a relative newcomer at the time, was given minimal direction. The filmmakers encouraged him to react naturally to the main characters and the chaotic convention environment. Fillion's spontaneous gestures, expressions, and shouted lines added authentic energy to the scene, making it feel like a real fan interaction rather than a scripted performance. His improvised cameo not only heightened the scene's realism, but also foreshadowed his future appeal in geek-centric roles. The energy he brought to the background contributed subtly to the film's charm, demonstrating how even small, unscripted moments can have a lasting impact on audience engagement and the film's cult status. One of Galaxy Quest's most impressive behind-the-scenes feats involved the creation of the starship NSEA Protector. The prop designers didn't just make a visually convincing model, they built fully functional miniatures with moving parts, working lights, and intricate detailing. These models were used in both close-up shots and high-speed sequences, requiring precision craftsmanship to ensure they looked realistic on camera. The crew even created miniature interiors, allowing actors to interact with a believable spaceship environment during scenes. Some models were designed to break or explode safely for action sequences, adding to the illusion of high-stakes intergalactic battles. The dedication paid off. The ship's realistic design elevated the film's sci-fi authenticity, making it feel like a real television starship come to life. Fans still praise the attention to detail, which contributed to the enduring charm and believability of Galaxy Quest's universe. To convincingly portray space travel, the Galaxy Quest cast underwent zero-gravity simulation training. While the film didn't have actual weightless conditions, the actors practiced movements on specialized rigs and harnesses designed to mimic floating in microgravity. Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and the rest of the cast had to adapt to the unusual coordination, learning how to push off walls, maneuver in mid-air, and react realistically while suspended. Even small gestures, like reaching for controls or floating through corridors, required careful practice to maintain believability on camera. The simulations weren't easy. Actors occasionally became tangled in wires or struggled with timing, but the effort paid off. The realistic weightlessness added authenticity to action sequences, enhancing the illusion of deep space adventure. Fans and critics alike noted the convincing physicality, demonstrating that the actors' preparation behind the scenes was as crucial to the film's charm as its witty script and imaginative storytelling. The humor in Galaxy Quest didn't just happen. It was carefully crafted, revised, and refined throughout production. The script underwent multiple rewrites, often on set, to maximize comedic timing and ensure jokes landed without disrupting the story's adventurous tone. Actors like Tim Allen and Alan Rickman frequently improvised lines, and writers incorporated these moments into new drafts. Scenes were adjusted to balance parody with heart, highlighting the absurdity of a washed-up sci-fi cast while maintaining audience empathy for the characters. Some gags were cut, others enhanced, and inside jokes were sprinkled throughout to reward attentive viewers. The rewrites extended to dialogue, scene structure, and even character dynamics, creating a living script that evolved with the cast's energy. This iterative approach resulted in a film that's both funny and emotionally resonant. Without these continual adjustments, Galaxy Quest might have felt flat or overly satirical instead of the enduring, beloved cult classic it became. The iconic spacesuits in Galaxy Quest looked sleek and futuristic on screen, but wearing them was far from comfortable. Designed to resemble real sci-fi uniforms, the suits were heavy, stiff, and made of materials that restricted movement. Actors had to endure long shooting days in the constricting outfits, which made performing stunts, sitting in ship consoles, or even walking awkwardly a challenge. The helmets added another layer of difficulty, limiting visibility and causing overheating under studio lights. Crew members often had to help actors get in and out of the suits, which slowed down filming considerably. Despite the discomfort, the suits contributed significantly to the film's visual appeal. They conveyed authenticity, made the characters instantly recognizable, and reinforced the illusion of a functioning starship crew. The actors' willingness to endure these challenges added realism to performances, showing that even small wardrobe hardships can leave a lasting impact on a film's legacy. Galaxy Quest is packed with humor, but many of its funniest moments were hidden inside jokes aimed at Star Trek fans. From props to dialogue, the filmmakers peppered references that only devoted sci-fi enthusiasts would recognize. Actors and crew were encouraged to lean into the parody with subtle nods to iconic Star Trek moments, like exaggerated salute gestures, technobabble, and even ship design elements reminiscent of classic starships. Alan Rickman and Tim Allen reportedly improvised lines that referenced fan conventions, rival actors, and behind-the-scenes quirks of television sci-fi. These insider touches elevated the film, creating a dual-layered experience. Casual viewers could enjoy the adventure and comedy, while superfans delighted in spotting the subtle nods. This careful attention to fandom culture helped Galaxy Quest resonate deeply with the sci-fi community, cementing its status as a clever, affectionate parody rather than just a broad comedy. Before Tim Allen was cast as Jason Nesmith, the role was nearly given to another actor. Producers initially considered several big names, including well-known action and comedy stars, hoping to attract a larger audience with a familiar face. Scheduling conflicts and creative disagreements, however, caused those options to fall through. Allen auditioned amid uncertainty, bringing a unique blend of charm, humor, and subtle satire that immediately resonated with the filmmakers. His ability to balance the egotism of a washed-up TV star with genuine heroism set him apart. Without him, the film's tone might have skewed too far toward slapstick, or lost its affectionate parody of sci-fi culture. This near-casting disaster illustrates how crucial timing and chemistry are in filmmaking. Alan's eventual acceptance of the role not only defined the character, but also anchored the entire ensemble, turning Galaxy Quest into the cult classic fans celebrate today. The Thermians' unique language in Galaxy Quest wasn't just gibberish, it was carefully designed by a professional linguist. The goal was to create an alien dialect that sounded otherworldly, but could be consistently spoken by actors, enhancing authenticity. Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and the cast learned key phrases, intonations, and rhythms to make interactions believable. The language added depth to the Thermians' culture, showing that these seemingly naive aliens had their own structured communication system. This attention to detail elevated the film beyond a simple parody. By creating a tangible linguistic system, the filmmakers made the Thermians more memorable and endearing. Fans still cite the language as one of the subtle touches that enrich the movie's world and charm. The climactic battle aboard the NSEA Protector wasn't entirely simulated. Some explosions were real. Special effects teams rigged carefully controlled charges to create fiery bursts, debris, and smoke, adding authenticity and intensity to the final sequences. Actors had to coordinate closely with pyrotechnics experts, timing movements perfectly to avoid injury. Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and the rest of the cast performed scenes with heightened awareness, reacting to actual bursts of flame and flying debris. The practical effects created a tangible sense of danger that CGI alone couldn't achieve at the time. These real explosions amplified the tension and spectacle, making the finale thrilling for audiences. Behind the scenes, the combination of careful planning, actor skill, and daring stunts turned the ending into a memorable, high-stakes cinematic moment. Alan Rickman, always a perfectionist, initially refused to film the emotional scene where his character, Alexander Dane, finally embraces his catchphrase, "By Grabthar's hammer." He worried it would come across as silly rather than poignant, undermining the gravity of the moment. Directors and cast members reassured him that the scene was crucial to showing Dane's transformation, from bitterly resentful actor to someone who accepts his role with dignity. Rickman eventually agreed, carefully modulating his delivery to mix irony with heartfelt conviction. The result became one of the film's most iconic moments, blending humor and sincerity in a way only Rickman could achieve. His reluctant embrace of the line turned it into a fan-favorite quote that outlived the film itself. Director Dean Pariso faced constant battles with the studio during the making of Galaxy Quest. Executives wanted a broader, kid-friendly comedy, while Pariso envisioned a sharp, witty satire that respected both fans and sci-fi traditions. The studio pushed for script changes, lighter humor, and even considered cutting darker or more emotional moments. Pariso fought to keep the balance, retaining the heart, satire, and character depth that made the story unique. He argued that the film's power lay in its mix of parody and sincerity, not just slapstick. Thanks to his persistence, Galaxy Quest maintained its clever tone. Without his resistance, the movie might have been reduced to a generic spoof instead of the cult classic celebrated by fans today. The Thermians' peculiar, awkward walk became one of Galaxy Quest's funniest quirks, but for the actors, it was torture. Director Dean Pariso wanted them to move with a stiff, floating rhythm, as if their bodies weren't entirely adapted to Earth's gravity. To achieve this, actors had to contort their spines, take short, shuffling steps, and hold stiff arm positions. Hours of rehearsals left many with sore backs, aching legs, and strained shoulders. Maintaining the gait during long shooting days proved even more grueling. Despite the discomfort, the effort paid off. The Thermians' odd, robotic-like movement made them both endearing and alien, cementing their status as some of the most memorable and unique characters in sci-fi comedy history. Sigourney Weaver didn't want Gwen Demarco to be reduced to a background figure or mere eye candy. From the start, she pushed the writers and director to give her character agency and moments of genuine importance. Weaver argued that Gwen's role as the communications officer was critical, not just comedic. She wanted her character to contribute meaningfully to the mission rather than simply repeating computer commands. As a result, Gwen became the only one who could navigate the ship's systems during the climax, proving essential to the crew's survival. Weaver's insistence gave the character strength and purpose, ensuring Gwen was more than a parody. Instead, she became a subtle statement about women in sci-fi, capable, smart, and indispensable. When Galaxy Quest premiered, it was expected to be a modest comedy with a niche appeal. Few could have predicted the cultural staying power it would achieve. Over the years, the film has gained a devoted fan base, praised not only for its humor, but for its heartfelt tribute to fandom and science fiction itself. Even Star Trek icons, initially skeptical, embraced the movie, with some calling it one of the best Star Trek films ever made, despite not being an official part of the franchise. Its themes of unity, belief, and redemption resonated deeply with audiences. Today, Galaxy Quest is remembered as a cult classic that transcended parody, becoming both a love letter and a blueprint for fan-driven storytelling. In the end, Galaxy Quest proved to be more than just a parody. It became a timeless celebration of fans, heroes, and second chances. Decades later, its charm, wit, and heart continue to inspire. Truly, the film's motto says it best: never give up, never surrender.